I'm so sick of that same old love. That shit, it tears me up. I'm so sick of that same old love. My body's had enough.
Forgot
I
everything.
freaked out. I forgot everything.
Benny Blanco was spotted at an upscale LA restaurant having dinner with a mystery woman, while Same Old Love played in the background, the very track he produced for Selena Gomez. That detail alone made the video instantly viral. According to sources, Selena unfollowed one of her closest friends shortly after seeing the clip and has since gone radio silent on social media. Stay with us as we unpack everything behind the scenes. Since their engagement in late 2023, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco have been the blueprint for modern love, radiating main character energy and what fans have been calling a full-on vibe shift. Their relationship, before any of the drama, seemed rooted in mutual respect, creative alignment, and heartfelt sincerity. From red carpet glam to vulnerable Instagram posts, they served a kind of openness that made them instantly ship-worthy. But then came the chaos. In March 2025, content creator Harry Daniels dropped a TikTok that broke the internet. A short clip with no context, but all the impact. It showed Benny Blanco dining with Teresa Marie at a high-end LA spot. The missing puzzle piece? Selena Gomez. Not only was she absent, but Teresa just so happened to be one of Selena's closest friends. What should have been a casual celeb sighting turned into a full-blown storyline once fans picked up on the details, especially the soundtrack. As Harry approached the table, filming discreetly, he began humming along to Selena's 2015 hit, Same Old Love. The move wasn't accidental. It was a sharp, chaotic nod to the emotional and parasocial dynamics between Benny, Selena, and Teresa, the kicker. Benny co-produced that exact song. The moment became layered, symbolic, and unsettling for many fans. Add in the fact that Benny was having dinner with someone from Selena's inner circle, and the internet's suspicion shot through the roof. Benny clocked Harry mid-recording, gave a casual laugh, and said, "Are you just following me at this point?" His reaction, nonchalant and confident, didn't exactly ease the public's rising suspicion. While Benny seemed unbothered, the online fandom detectives went into full breakdown mode. Micro-expressions were analyzed, seating positions were scrutinized. The absence of Selena? Loud. The history between all three? Suddenly under a microscope. The presence of Teresa Marie took this from basic tabloid moment to full-on S-tier drama. Teresa wasn't just any influencer, she was part of Selena's inner circle, publicly praised by her in the past for her energy, support, and collaborative spirit. The fact that she was now seen having a private dinner with Selena's fiancé had the internet side-eyeing the whole thing hard. Some fans brushed it off, saying it was probably harmless, just friends grabbing food. Others weren't buying it. The timeline became split between "it's not that deep" and "this is a red flag waiting to explode." Comment sections turned into war zones. Team "nothing to see here" clashed with Team "this is sus AF" in real time. TikTok creators with usernames like Selena's Defender and Celeba Uncensored launched entire multi-part breakdowns analyzing Benny's body language, Teresa's expressions, and even the way he shifted in his seat when Harry appeared. One side claimed he looked guilty. The other side said people were being too parasocial and needed to go outside. Theories started popping up everywhere. Some users pointed out the restaurant was one of Selena's favorite spots, implying Benny wouldn't take another woman there if it wasn't innocent. Others zoomed in on Teresa's outfit and claimed it was styled by Selena's own team. Cue more confusion. As the video gained traction, it sparked even bigger questions. Was this just a harmless hangout? Was Selena being disrespected behind the scenes? Or was there something deeper bubbling beneath the surface? The fandom couldn't decide, but the speculation was relentless. What made this moment so explosive wasn't just the people involved, it was what they represented. In the pop culture cinematic universe, Selena Gomez is more than a celebrity. She's the symbol of authenticity, resilience, and public healing. Her journey through heartbreak, health battles, and emotional growth has played out in front of millions. Benny Blanco is the eccentric genius type, quirky, creative, and unapologetically weird. Together, they became fan favorites. Teresa, while not as publicly visible, had been part of Selena's trusted circle for years. She wasn't a random face. She was someone fans recognized as a genuine ride or die. That's why this dinner hit different. It wasn't just about the people at the table. It was about loyalty, trust, and the unspoken rules of friendship. And to top it off, the timing couldn't have been worse. Selena's fans had finally seen her step into a W era after years of relationship Ls. So anything that even remotely looked like betrayal activated full-scale emotional defense. Mode fans remembered how openly Selena had talked about loneliness, about not feeling seen, about struggling to trust again. Now, seeing her fiancé and longtime bestie out together without context felt like another emotional landmine. The video took on a life of its own. Comments ranged from "I'm screaming" to genuine concern and disappointment. Some even praised Harry's TikTok as a masterclass in chaotic timing, calling him the unexpected main character of the saga. But it wasn't just a viral moment anymore. It had evolved into a full-blown discourse about boundaries, loyalty, and what counts as betrayal. In the age of constant digital surveillance, what added even more fuel to the fire? Silence. No one involved, Benny, Teresa, or Selena, said a word about the dinner or the viral video. And in the celebrity world, silence can be just as loud as a statement. That lack of explanation gave the internet full permission to spiral. With no Notes app apology, no interview clarification, and no IG post to shut it all down, fans were left to build their own narratives. And they did. The TikTok clip wasn't just a trending moment anymore, it became a personality trait. On Twitter, it spiraled into something bigger, a case study in parasocial relationships, in how celebrities lose control over their own stories the minute they're captured on camera. Selena's fans, known for their unmatched dedication, ran wild with theories. Her healing arc had inspired millions. Any perceived threat to that narrative felt personal. People weren't just defending a celebrity, they were defending their emotional investment in her. Teresa Marie suddenly found herself thrust into the main character spotlight. But who was she really? Teresa wasn't just a familiar face in Selena's orbit, she was a foundational part of her real-life storyline. She started out as Selena's executive assistant in 2016 and evolved into a true best friend. The bond wasn't just professional, it was personal, consistent, and well-documented through years of appreciation posts, red carpet cameos, and quiet behind-the-scenes support. In 2019, they took their friendship public with a swimwear collaboration that pushed body positivity and female empowerment. It wasn't just a brand deal, it was a character development arc. The campaign went viral not just for the merch, but for what it represented: unfiltered friendship, body confidence, and main character energy. Fans loved it. Unedited campaign photos, bold messaging, sold-out collections, even marketing professors cited it as a case study in authenticity. It wasn't just fashion, it was vulnerability in motion, and at the center of it was Teresa. Not just playing the sidekick, but showing up with vision, support, and empathy. She understood Selena's story and added value to it. Over the years, their friendship remained solid. Public moments were rare, but meaningful. They appeared together at events, exchanged low-key but loving social media comments, and most recently were seen at Anna Collins' birthday bash in March 2025, still showing up, still in sync. But now, that same bond was under scrutiny. Teresa may have played it low-key, but her influence was real. With over 158,000 Instagram followers and a booming OnlyFans presence, she had built a digital empire of her own. Before linking with Selena, she already had a serious resume, working as Kim Kardashian's assistant and collaborating with Robin Antine, the mastermind behind the Pussycat Dolls. So no, this wasn't some random influencer showing up for clout. Teresa had real history, real receipts, and a real role in Selena's story. Their 2019 swimwear project proved that. It wasn't just about fashion, it was about vulnerability, body positivity, and empowering women through unfiltered storytelling. It was peak hot girl summer energy with a therapeutic twist, and fans ate it up. The campaign exploded. Merch sold out in minutes. Comments poured in, praising their authenticity. Even fashion content creators jumped in, calling it the end of toxic beauty standards. It wasn't just a collab, it was a friendship solidified through creativity. Through the years, Teresa remained a subtle, consistent presence in Selena's life. Whether posting tributes or supporting business launches, she was always there. Sometimes quietly, sometimes visibly. She wasn't performing for the algorithm, she was just showing up. So when she was spotted at dinner with Benny Blanco, the stakes felt different. At first, the viral TikTok didn't completely blow up. It simmered until April 30th, 2025, That's when sharp-eyed fans noticed something that detonated the narrative. Selena had unfollowed Teresa on Instagram. Just like that, the entire timeline exploded. The seemingly small act, a simple unfollow, wasn't overlooked. Not in today's social media landscape, not when it came to a day one friend with a decade of backstory. Suddenly, the TikTok dinner footage was reevaluated with fresh eyes. What once looked like a strange but explainable moment now screamed red flag. The silence was no longer neutral, it felt pointed. The unfollow sent a very loud, very public message, and with zero explanation offered, fans were left to connect. The dots themselves. Theories multiplied. Comment sections turned into evidence boards. Reddit threads went deep. Had something gone down behind the scenes? Was this the end of an era? For fans who had rooted for Selena and Teresa's friendship for years, the unfollow felt like a gut punch. Their public bond had always felt genuine, unforced, unfiltered, unproblematic. So to see it fractured, even subtly, stirred up every possible emotion. This wasn't just about a dinner anymore. It was about a potential fracture between two women who'd shared the same screen, the same projects, the same emotional timeline. And here's what made things even messier. Teresa didn't unfollow back. That detail set the internet ablaze. In a world where mutuals matter and digital behavior is scrutinized like celebrity court transcripts, the imbalance said a lot without saying anything. Stan Twitter broke into factions. Was Teresa confused? Hurt? Trying to keep the door open? Or was it a calculated PR move to stay on good terms? Every theory got its own thread. Some believed she was extending an olive branch, others were convinced it was damage control, an attempt to avoid fueling. More speculation. Either way, the visual of a one-sided unfollow added another dramatic layer to an already stacked situation. What could lead Selena to cut off someone who had been there for years, both personally and professionally? No one really knew, but everyone was asking. And since no one dropped a public statement, the silence kept feeding the frenzy. In a world where celebs often run to the Notes app or the close friend's IG story for damage control, this radio silence just made the moment feel bigger. The longer the quiet lasted, the louder the questions became. By now, this wasn't just a TikTok drama or a casual celebrity dinner. It had evolved into a full-blown internet obsession centered on friendship boundaries, emotional betrayal, and what loyalty really means in a hyper-digital world. Of course, things escalated further, as expected. As the video of Benny and Teresa's dinner kept gaining views, the online narrative shifted from weird moment to potential cheating scandal. And when the internet decides a new theory is canon, buckle up, soon TikTok. Detectives and Twitter theorists were spinning the wildest plots yet. The most viral theory? That Benny Blanco was cheating on Selena with Teresa, and that the dinner video was just the tip of the iceberg. Receipts started surfacing. Allegedly, Benny had subscribed to Teresa's OnlyFans. For many fans, that was a red flag wrapped in a red neon sign, especially given Teresa's personal and professional ties to Selena. Then came the whispers that Teresa had been seen at Benny's house multiple times when Selena wasn't around. It didn't stop there. The mess hit a fever pitch when gossip accounts claimed Benny and Teresa had allegedly checked into a hotel together using the alias Benny T. Fans claimed Teresa left the hotel around 4:52 a.m., which, if true, added a whole new level of problematic energy. Suddenly, what started as a questionable dinner turned into full-on betrayal lore. The hashtag Benny Blanco cheated on Selena Gomez began trending. It wasn't just fan accounts anymore. Entertainment sites picked it up, T-pages ran with it, and casual observers turned into analysts. Still, some fans tried to play devil's advocate. What if Benny and Teresa were planning a surprise for Selena? Maybe an engagement moment or a bachelorette party. After all, the proposal wasn't that long ago. He could literally be organizing a surprise party, one fan commented. Maybe they were scouting locations or finalizing details, another added. Let's not jump to conclusions. Others weren't convinced. They argued that, regardless of intentions, the optics were terrible, and Teresa's presence, given her background, her platform, and her role in Selena's life, made everything look shady. There was also the OnlyFans factor. Even though being on the platform is totally valid, it still comes with unfair judgment from certain corners of the fandom. For some fans, her work on the site complicated things, blurring the boundaries between friendship and perception. Micro moments, like a follow, an unfollow, or a private dinner, became evidence. digital breadcrumbs turned into court cases. And every detail became part of a larger emotional conspiracy. In today's internet landscape, even the smallest moves, liking a post, grabbing a meal, or walking into a hotel, can spiral into headline-level speculation. Especially when fans have built deep emotional connections with their favorite stars, parasocial bonds don't just observe, they participate. And when fans feel like they know the characters, every new development feels personal. That's exactly what happened here. For so many, Selena Gomez represents resilience. She's the one who made it through the storm, heartbreak, illness, public scrutiny, and came out stronger. Her vulnerability wasn't just branding, it was real, tangible, relatable. So to watch that piece get potentially threatened by something as messy as betrayal, it stung. Selena's supporters weren't just defending her, they were defending the symbol she had become in their own healing journeys. Any disruption to that story, especially from someone in her trusted circle, felt like a betrayal to them too. And the drama wasn't just about cheating or friendship, it was about perception. When you're famous, privacy becomes a myth. Your life is watched, recorded, and dissected at every turn. A single dinner becomes a potential plot twist in your public biography, and for Selena, that microscope is constant. She's opened up about her trust issues. She's spoken candidly about how hard it's been to rebuild relationships after public heartbreak. And now, with fans having watched her finally find joy again, the idea that something, anything, could shake that foundation sparked massive emotional investment. Then came another shift. On May 7th, 2025, Selena posted a throwback Instagram carousel. In the caption, she wrote, "Little blast from the past because basically I'm lying horizontal and reminiscing about some memories." One of the photos, a candid moment with Teresa Marie. The plot twist hit like lightning. After weeks of speculation, silence, and emotional chaos, Selena had reintroduced Teresa into her feed. And just hours later, she posted a story of Benny hanging out with her family dog and nephew. Normal, chill, even cozy. To fans paying attention, this felt intentional. Selena's timing wasn't random. It never is. Longtime fans know that when she speaks, it's often through silence, subtle captions, and visual storytelling. This wasn't a Notes app apology. It was something more elegant. More Selena. Her response felt aligned with how she's handled every past controversy, not through confrontation, but through carefully curated social media moments. Not with chaos, but with clarity. And it landed, because Selena has always preached one thing: transparency. Whether it's in her interviews, her mental health advocacy, or her friendships, she's about honesty, vulnerability, emotional maturity. She's built her career around showing what's real, especially when it's uncomfortable. So even without a formal statement, fans understood. The message? Whatever tension had occurred, it had been addressed. The storm had passed, and for those who've followed her journey for years, that resolution made sense. Selena has always emphasized the importance of healthy communication and boundaries, especially in her inner circle. She's talked about the people she surrounds herself with, how they have to value authenticity, loyalty, and emotional clarity. Her conversation with Jay Shetty was a masterclass in vulnerability. She openly discussed living with bipolar disorder, navigating fame, and choosing growth over drama. She's done the work: therapy, healing, reflection. And it shows. That's why this moment hit different. It wasn't just internet tea. It was a test of emotional evolution, a reflection of how far she's come, and a reminder that sometimes silence is not avoidance, it's wisdom. While we may never know the full details about what happened behind the scenes, the timeline tells its own story. A small fallout, a brief unfollow, a moment of tension, then reconnection. Quiet, subtle, but undeniable, and fans noticed. Many compared it to her past falling out and reconciliation with Francia Raisa, her kidney donor. That too had caused public waves. That too had been resolved without spectacle. She takes her space, does her processing, and reconnects when she's ready. One fan tweeted, "That's called emotional intelligence." Mental health advocates in her fandom praised the way Selena handled it. TikTok creators, some with millions of followers, made videos explaining how her conflict resolution style mirrors someone who's actually been through therapy and learned from it. She doesn't post messy subtweets. She doesn't do call-outs. She sets a boundary, takes a beat, and then chooses how to re-engage on her own terms, one creator said. That's growth. That's real maturity. They weren't wrong. And it's worth remembering, Selena's relationship with Benny started after she spent 5 full years single. 5 years in the public eye, 5 years focused on herself, healing, and figuring out who she was beyond the noise. That's not a rebound. That's a reset. Those 5 years came after a highly public, emotionally exhausting entanglement with Justin Bieber. And in that space, Selena went inward. She prioritized mental health, self-worth, stability. She rebuilt. So when she stepped back into love with Benny, it wasn't impulsive. It was intentional, and fans felt that. That's why this whole situation hit so hard. Because for many people, Selena's relationship wasn't just a personal win. It symbolized hope, the idea that healing is possible, that peace after chaos is real, and when that peace looks even remotely threatened, the internet responds like a defense mechanism. Despite all that, Selena didn't let the chaos throw her off. She didn't spiral. She didn't explain herself into exhaustion. She simply posted a throwback moment, a soft nod, and then let people interpret it however they wanted. That's her brand now. Subtle power, quiet boundary setting, emotional intelligence in motion. And still, the speculation didn't stop entirely, because when you're Selena Gomez, your life isn't just content, it's canon. Every story becomes part of the lore. Every shift gets dissected, even if it's as minor as tapping the unfollow button or uploading a nostalgic photo set. Privacy becomes almost impossible when every relationship, personal or professional, unfolds in a public forum. Even with boundaries in place, Selena's relationships remain under a microscope 24/7. Every appearance, every tag, every cryptic caption. When you're that famous, the public reads your silence louder than your statements. And it's not just about Selena. Benny and Teresa are public figures in their own right, which means their actions, no matter how private they were intended to be, come loaded with interpretations, assumptions, and ripple effects. In truth, the biggest catalyst for this entire situation wasn't even the dinner itself. It was the perfect storm of timing, visibility, and emotional investment. It was the way a single TikTok, with a perfectly ironic soundtrack, landed right in the middle of an emotionally charged fandom. Theories spiraled because fans care, because they've watched Selena grow, and because they believe in the healing arc she's built out loud, in public, under pressure. That's what made this saga so potent. It wasn't just drama for entertainment, it was narrative disruption. And narrative matters when you've built a public identity around resilience, trust, and starting over. But here's the thing, sometimes the internet forgets that celebrities are still human. Relationships evolve, friendships shift, people fight, people heal, boundaries get tested, then redrawn. That doesn't mean betrayal. It doesn't mean conspiracy. Sometimes it just means growth. What happened between Selena, Benny, and Teresa? We may never get the full story. And maybe we're not supposed to. What matters is how they chose to handle it, with silence, space, and eventually subtle reconnection. And that's what hit different. No public fallouts, no messy quote tweets, just 3 adults moving through complicated emotions. Like humans, even in the spotlight, Selena found a way to protect her peace, and that alone is its own kind of win. As of May 13th, 2025, the situation seems to have cooled off. Selena's recent posts suggest peace. She's shared moments with Benny. She's included Teresa again, subtly but clearly. And while no official statements were made, the silence has finally started to feel intentional, not evasive. Whatever happened behind the scenes has likely been addressed. And fans? They've started to move on. The viral theory that Benny cheated with Teresa has mostly lost traction. There were never any hard receipts, just whispers, theories, and algorithm-fueled chaos. In the end, it was all vibes. No confirmations, no proof. The way this narrative exploded and then resolved was a perfect example of how fast online culture moves, how quickly fandoms form a consensus, how easily speculation becomes a headline, but also how silence, grace, and mature emotional choices can reclaim control. Selena's response wasn't reactive, it was selective. She chose peace over performance. She let time, not trending tabs, guide the narrative back to balance. And honestly, that's rare in today's celebrity culture. This entire chapter became a case study in fame, privacy, and how emotional narratives play out in public. It showed us how easily we blur the line between support and surveillance, and how even those we root for can become subjects of our projection. At the end of the day, we may never know what really went down between Selena, Benny, and Teresa. But what we do know is this: the way Selena handled it speaks volumes about her growth, about how she protects her energy, about how she's rewritten the rules for what healing looks like in public. In a world obsessed with chaos, she chose calm. And that's main character energy. Well, that's it for this video. But there's plenty more where that came from. Just click on subscribe button and write your thoughts in comments right now. And keep the story going.